Hi everyone, in this video we are going to discuss all the drawbacks or the negative aspects of using photovoltaic cells as our main source of harnessing energy, especially if we're harnessing energy from the sun, okay? So there are 5 main ones that I expect you to know, so let's start off with the probably the hardest one or the worst part of this, and that is that in order to have a photovoltaic cell, you need to have pure elemental silicon. So when I say pure, we're talking 99.999% pure. If you have a purity that is less than that, the silicon is not going to work as a very good semiconductor. So that's a big issue, especially if you recall that it naturally exists as silicon dioxide, right, which is sand, okay? We have to extract silicon from our sand in order to get it to 99.999% pure. It's not an easy task. Number 2, and this is another bad one, there's a low efficiency. Okay. When it's by itself, a singular one, it's about 15% efficient. However, we know that if we're able to stack all of our N and P type semiconductors right on top of each other, we can maximize that efficiency and get it closer to about 72% efficient. However, that is costly, it is not easy to do, and that takes a lot of different semiconductors that are teeny tiny in order to do that. So it's not an easy process. So right now, globally, when we talk about it, people often say they have a low efficiency for a singular cell. All right, now number 3, what we need is it to be cheaper, okay? It is too expensive. And now right now for this, what I'm talking about is putting solar panels on your house. For an individual human or an individual citizen to actually put solar panels on their house, right now it is unbelievably expensive. And here is my example. So this is just a house with solar panels on it, and they look really pretty. It's some random house, okay? I love solar panels. I think it is one of the best ways for us to harness energy and convert any type of energy to electrical energy. I think solar panels are great. But I personally cannot afford solar panels. So me, one of the biggest advocates, someone who would easily sacrifice any type of monetary value to purchase these, I can't. They are out of my budget. And so that is a huge issue. How are you going to get people who are not as geeked out about nerdy stuff like this as I am if it's not something that's important and you throw an additional cost on it? So this is a very big negative. And some people like to brush it off, but it's not. Cost is one of the biggest and the worst parts about photovoltaic cells. All right, now number 4. Land requirements. If we wanted to actually use this to power our entire nation, okay, the entire United States, it requires a lot of land. So let's talk about that. In order to do it for the entire United States, we need a station that is 85 miles by 85 miles in order to power the entire United States. Just for a frame of reference, in case you're not familiar with that, that is the size of New Jersey. So if New Jersey decided to just everybody there decided to up and move and just donate the land to the United States, we'd be in a great place or great, whatever you want to say, great space, there we go. But that's not going to happen. And so what we need to do is figure out a way to use this in smaller increments and do tiny little land sections all over the United States, because one big spot of 85 by 85 miles, that's just not going to happen. We don't have the land available for that. And number 5, which is the last one, which is also important, although we are getting a lot better at this, is that the energy must be stored at night. Okay, so for nighttime purposes, if you want any electricity, as soon as that sun goes down, your electricity stops, that current stops. So you need to find a way to actually create enough energy during the day to harness it, store it, so that during the night when it's dark and you really absolutely need your electricity and your lights on, you have a way to do that and you have electricity available to you, okay? So those are all your 5 negatives. So you need silicon, we're talking about low efficiency, we have cost, it's really expensive, it requires a lot of land in order to do this, and then we also have a storage component. You absolutely have to store it in order to use that electricity at night. Now, but those are 5 bad things. I want to highlight 2-ish main things. No fossil fuels. So, no fossil fuels inherently tells us that we have no air pollutants. Okay, so this process of using photovoltaic cells does not produce air pollutants, which means it also is not producing, so not creating carbon dioxide, which means, and this is more important, it is not contributing toward global climate change. So regardless of the process, 1 N-type, 1 P-type semiconductor, or 36 N and P-type semiconductors, you are not contributing towards global climate change. You are not putting carbon monoxide out into the planet. You're not putting nitrogen dioxide or particulate matter out in the planet. This is clean. It is clean, clean, clean. It is the best option if we're just looking at the planet. And number 2, and this is something that is more important for people who are not as lucky as the American citizens are, so people who live in remote locations. So basically, PV cells can provide electricity to those that live in remote areas, which is really, really important. And I want to end with just one really cool picture that I found from your book, and your book just says remote location, so I have no idea where this is. Your guess would be as good as mine, but here's the thing. Some nerd showed up to this place, wherever this place is, and put one array, one photovoltaic array down, one solar panel down, and all of a sudden, overnight, they can now pump water. They can use the instant radiation from the sun to pump water up for them. They don't have to do whatever it is they do to get water. Now, using photovoltaic cells, they easily have access to water, and that is just such a beautiful and magical thing. We are spoiled rotten with how much water we have and how easily we have access to this. So please keep this in the back of your mind. Think about these happy people who are just giving us the thumbs up because science is amazing and photovoltaic cells are amazing. So here is my question. Do you think it is worth investigating, and I should probably say optimizing, PV cells? Is it possible? Is it worth looking more into this? Should we investigate, or should we invest a lot of our energy in order to get more energy out? Did you get an answer? I think it's obvious, hopefully it is, but the answer is definitely yes. It is definitely worth investigating further our PV cells. We can optimize this, we can get that efficiency up. But if nothing else, what you need to do is remember these people right here, okay? These are people who don't have the education, they don't have the resources that we have, but all of a sudden, by just adding a photovoltaic cell, they can easily access water, and that is invaluable. I'm going to leave you with that. Have a great week, take care of yourself, and drink water.